I don't know much about Lex Fridman other than every time I've tried to watch his podcast, I get bored to wit's end. I don't find him that entertaining. He, again, wow, shocker. Me not finding somebody entertaining. That is wild. But we're going to talk about Lex Fridman. I just find him to be a cardboard piece of cardboard that has no intrigue to me whatsoever. But this video is from Too Lazy to Try. He covers a lot of podcast cringe, and this is called Lex Fridman Won't Stop Humiliating Himself. Let's get into it.
They call me Brian Callahan. In this cruel world there is a man you should listen to as you journey on through life. His name is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. Shoulders for days and a really wide back. Joe Rogan.
This is so pathetic. This is like the most cringe thing I think I've ever seen. Like, oh my god. Oh my god, boys and girls. What are we doing here? Also, Joe Rogan, like, this is an old setup, I think, but god, did he need to clean this desk up. There is way too many knickknacks and garbage on here.
Joe Rogan, a barrel of snakes for a bag.
You fucked up. You should have never done that song. It was terrible.
All right, so this cringe merchant we have.
You should have never done the song. Go back to the drawing board, Lex Fridman. You're a cringe boy. You're a cringe little boy. Never do it again.
Here is Lex Fridman, who I'm sure people are somewhat familiar with, but if you're not, he's another one of these pseudo-intellectual Rogan Sphere podcaster characters who has some kind of association with MIT and has worked on AI research. But his role at MIT and some of the work he's done there has been questioned a lot, and other experts in his field have heavily criticized some of his research because he's mostly known for doing this research paper on the safety of Tesla Autopilot that was really favorable for Tesla, but was called out by a lot of other academics. And Lex's response was just to block everybody.
Dude, this is such a normal... I remember, so I don't know if you all know who Sam Hyde is. He's a comedian. But he had this AI video. He said it was AI, and he called like Lex Fridman gay or something. I can't remember what exactly the video. He might have just dropped the big F word, on Lex Fridman. He was like, "Yo, AI is getting so good," and then he just posted this video where he just like calls out Lex Fridman, and everyone who liked that post from Sam Hyde got blocked by Lex Fridman. The dude's like schizo when it comes to criticism toward him. Which, here's the thing. Criticize me as much as you want on the internet. Blow me up as much as possible, daddy. I'm ready for it. I will not block you. I will welcome it. I enjoy chaos. But there is so many people who get soft in the feels and just go on a block spree. And that to me shows weak-willed personality. You're a pussy for whenever somebody criticizes you. And this is such a pathetic move.
I was critical of it, and now it's almost impossible to find his research paper. But it did, of course, get Elon Musk's attention, which I'm sure was Lex's main goal with it.
It makes for a fun chat, I think. So one guy that I've talked to several times, is slowly becoming a friend, is a guy named Elon Musk.
And because of Lex's association with MIT, AI, and Elon Musk, now some people think Lex is an MIT professor and an AI genius that works on Teslas.
Like Lex Fridman went on Joe Rogan the other day, and he's a AI like genius guy. He like does all the Teslas and stuff.
I feel like Lex Fridman just kind of exists. He exists and pretends to be like the intellectual version of Joe Rogan, and he's just boring as shit. That's all he is. Anytime I see these pseudo-intellectuals, they sit back, they're like, yeah, like I watched part of his Todd Howard interview. Now, if you don't know who Todd Howard is, he is the Giga Chad who did at Bethesda, who, if you hate him, he's not a Giga Chad. But if you like some of his older games, he's a Giga Chad. I don't care what your opinions is on Todd Howard. But God, was it the most boring fucking interview I'd ever seen, dude. I watched like 10 minutes of it, and I wanted to burn my own phone just for some entertainment.
So he managed to leverage those credentials into getting Joe Rogan and Elon Musk's attention. You know, basically, he's a professional Elon Musk and Joe Rogan dick rider, which can get you pretty far. I mean, he's one of the top podcasters now, but the amount of glazing you have to do is pretty embarrassing. I mean, that Joe Rogan song Lex performed felt like a humiliation ritual. But, you know,
dude, even Joe Rogan looks uncomfortable. That's the thing. Even Joe Rogan looks like, why the fuck are you doing this, bro? And I know I can be more positive on Joe Rogan than most people. I like Joe Rogan. I think he's entertaining. Even in some of his conversations where I think other people did the conversations better. Like, dude, His Cat Williams interview was kind of boring, right? But then I watched Cat Williams go on Theo Vaughn, and it was one of the greatest podcasts I'd ever seen. It was fucking hilarious how they were both just vibing. But Jesus, is this cringe, dude. Jesus, this guy just a fucking... And this is how he is with everybody he has on. He doesn't do pushback that much. He just kind of sits there and listens and glazes. And he, like, the best thing to do is in these type of situations is to ask the questions and then kind of do a little pushback and see where their position is. And even Joe Rogan gets this. Do you know how many times he's put some of these right-wing people in their place as well as the left-wing people? Anytime old Ooga Booga Joe Rogan finds something that, oh, Joe Rogan knows that might not be true, Joe Rogan must ask question, he asks question, hate him or not. At least he does that minimal of a minimal of thing. But Lex won't do that. Lex will be over here just fucking glazing the shit out of people and he just like lets them say their noise without putting any sort of intrigue behind it. He's fucking lame.
There's a lot of people competing for Rogan and Elon's attention, so you have to take drastic measures sometimes. Like when it comes to glazing Elon, it's not easy to compete with some of these people like Ian Miles Chong. But Lex, he'll give him a run for his...
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing with that Grums guy. Grums sits there and glazes Musk to an nth degree. Now, again, I've said in the past that I don't hate Elon Musk. I find him cringe. I like what's going on with the Doge thing, whether you hate it or not. I was wanting that for years. Even when I was considered a left-wing guy, I still wanted... That was one of my main positions that I lived on. But here's the thing, dude. You can like hate Elon Musk, but it's so funny how there's these grifters out there like Grums, like Ian Miles Chong, that just sit there and like sit on Elon Musk's knob while gulping as hard as they can. And it's like, bro, no one should want people around them to just gulp them off 24/7. One of my favorite viewers who is in my chat right now is a guy named High Glowy. Well, he's going by like an alt account or something, but he is one of my early viewers. And me and him disagree on a lot of things, but I like that he gives me a pushback. I like that he calls out where I might be wrong, and I've always appreciated having a difference of opinion around me because I think it makes me a more broad, more well-versed individual. But Lex Fridman is a fucking cum guzzler. That's all he is.
His money. I mean, these two spend so much time on Twitter just thinking of ways to praise Elon. And
his rise to popularity does seem semi-artificial, but again, I think there is it's artificial in a sense, but it's also not artificial, if that makes sense. So here's the thing. Let's say I'm on a massive podcast, right? I'm on a massive podcast. I end up getting, I've worked to a certain degree to get on this show. And then I get on this show, and then I get an audience overlay where people are like, I enjoyed him on that show, so I'm going to go check out his content. And then I skyrocket. And then I keep having people on that are pretty big named in different industries, like what Lex has done, and then I grow. And I'm not growing because I'm the most entertaining. I'm growing because I'm having entertaining people on my show that people already like. And that's where a lot of these big he basically saw the Joe Rogan method and he copied Joe Rogan's podcast, but he's not as entertaining as Joe Rogan. That's all he is. And I don't know if it's I don't think it's artificial. I just think that he saw what Joe Rogan was doing, utilized his boost from getting on to different podcasts and spitting his nonsense to then getting more big people on the show.
And during this past Valentine's Day, this was really cringy. Elon, his girlfriend, posted a picture of her and their kids. And then Elon responded with like a heart emoji, and then she responded with the same thing. And then for some reason, Lex responded to both of them and said, loving this, with a heart emoji. And the comments are like, dude, this is creepy. This is so weird. What are you doing? And then also on Lex's podcast, he'll praise Elon every chance he gets. And he'll even ask his guests questions like this.
A little bit more love. What do you admire in the name of love about Elon Musk?
And Lex always says
like, please glaze Elon Musk. Here's the thing, dude. If somebody asks me on a podcast what I feel about Elon Musk, I have it pretty simple. I like the Doge thing. I like it. I like transparency. What I don't like is how fucking he sits and sucks every ounce of Trump's cock and then glazes people that agree with him. And then has a little hissy fit when people disagree with him. That's what I don't like about Elon Musk. Also, the dude's mad cringe. But I will not be out one of those people that are like, oh, Elon Musk's an idiot. I mean, the dude's definitely smart enough to have created multiple different avenues and then has a fucking rocket that can land itself. He's not an idiot. You might disagree with him on certain aspects, but I'm not going to say he's a fucking moron because of that. And see, I think that people need to have more nuanced opinions of things instead of just glazing them without any sort of pre-thought behind it.
Like this, he's always talking about the importance of love, and he just sounds so childish. Like he thinks everything can be solved through the power of love and forgiveness. Like when he had on Zelensky, he said he just needs to learn to forgive Putin, which no matter what side you're on there, to think that those two are going to forgive each other is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, dude, this guy's blown up part of your country. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Zelensky. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a fan of Putin either. I think both of them are, like, here's the thing. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty of the whole Ukraine struggle, is that war is not going to end without some sort of compromise, and there is no way that Zelensky gets everything he wants because Russia has nukes. Plain and simple. They are the bigger guy that has more power. Yeah, the best you can hope for is a nice compromise and a ceasefire where Ukraine ends up with most of their country back. Hopefully, Russia doesn't get all of it, right? I don't want Russia to have any of it, but it's fucking Russia, dude. What are you gonna do without going to absolute war with them? Anyways, back to the thing. Just like, oh, well, love can fix it all, dude. Just love Putin. He's like, yeah, you can get through this because if you love him, it's like, dude, they've been blowing up my country for fucking years now, and you want me just to love them? No, this is what's funny whenever there's any commentary on any of these wars that are going on right now. They're like, well, love will fix it. I mean, if they just, if both sides just agree to stop, it'll be great. And it's like, yeah, but they both hate each other. There's a reason they were at war. They're not just gonna, like, love each other out of nowhere. It's like, it's sad that there's death happening on both sides, and war sucks, and I hate war, but that's just kind of them are the breaks, buddy. Them are the breaks, and you're not gonna just get through it with love.
But Lex acts like he lives in a fairy tale world, and whenever there's a conflict or a problem, he thinks it can just be solved with the power of love. And you can tell even the guests he has on his show think it's kind of goofy how much he talks about this, and sometimes he even has trouble keeping a straight face when he mentions it.
I gotta ask you about love.
I heard you're into this now.
Into this love thing?
Yeah. You think this is your solution to your depression?
No, I'm just trying to, like you said, to enlighten people in a cage.
Do you think this is the solution because you're a big sad bitch boy? Listen, Lex Fridman. Oh, you're a big bitch boy who's really sad. Do you think this is gonna fix your depression problems? What the fuck? That's badass, dude. Dude was savage as fuck for that comment.
So, in that sense, I would say the power of love is the philosophy you might apply to Brett. Any chance you talk to Joe again and reinvigorate your friendship?
Yeah, well, I reached out to him privately when I saw that.
Did you use the power of love?
And in my opinion, this whole image he portrays of being
that was the most gay, retarded thing I'd ever seen. Did you use the power of love when you reached out to him in a text message? So retarded. He's such an idiot.
Love and understanding just seems like a facade. I mean, he tries so hard to act like he's a really thoughtful and caring person who just wants to understand everybody and their opinions and perspective.
And I'm willing to be patient, to learn, to listen, to humble myself with knowledge for the sake of knowledge itself. I try to think deeply about the world, to look for the beautiful ideas in the minds of others, and to be inspired by them.
But then he goes around.
Dude, tell me that isn't just fucking put you to sleep energy, bro. Bro's so monotone and boring. God, he has nothing. He's nothing. He's so fucking sleepy, bro. He's the type of shit that you put on in a room, and it's got those guys with the eyes put up, and they're just like, ah! It's awful, dude. She's so boring. And then whenever he has any sort of pushback, he just gets angry and blocks everybody.
Blocking anybody that's even remotely critical of him, even people in the same field, AI and computer scientists, he'll block them. Even if you like the wrong tweet, he'll block you. And then also a ton of people have been banned from his subreddit, and I guess if you even ask any questions about his background or anything, you'll get banned. Like if you say he graduated from Drexler and not MIT, they'll ban you. So this doesn't really seem like somebody who's all about having conversations and understanding where people are coming from. And then also one time, Mark Norman, he told this story about how he was doing a podcast with Lex, and it was at a hotel, and Lex needed to print something, but the printer wasn't working, and he said Lex started yelling at the lady who was working there. And Mark sounded pretty surprised by it because obviously if you listen to Lex's podcast, he sounds very even-tempered and relaxed, and he talks a lot about
But that's the thing. Most of these people that are like even-tempered and relaxed are some of the most schizo people behind the scenes, dude. They're putting on a facade, right? They're putting on a facade. Like, here's me, right? I am a chaos individual. I'm a fucking gremlin who's all energy, and everybody thinks that I'm actually mad, and I'm really upset, and I'm fucking taking this shit way too seriously because I put on this energy that I always have. I always put 1,000% into everything. But here's the thing: when I get off camera, I've already hit 1,000. This is 1,000%. This is entertainer King Jiffy, and then I go back to my normal life where I'm just chilling. But these fucking calm, all about love, relaxed, I'm a intellectual giant and you're a mental midget guys. When they get out of that scene, that anger and that energy that everybody inherently has to go somewhere. And so then it goes, they just put it on other people, make it other people's problems. It's all a facade. It's all bullshit. Almost all of these people are pretending to be something else, and it's crazy.
love and compassion, but then if a printer breaks down, he'll flip out.
Well, what's fun is we did it in a hotel in New York. He was in town for some reason, and the printer wasn't working in the lobby, and I got to watch him yell at the lady behind the desk, and that was weird, seeing him not be that robot guy. He was like, "What the hell? The printer isn't working? Get your shit together." And some girl like, "I don't know," and I want to be like, "Hey, that's the autistic guy."
And this part of the podcast was originally posted as a clip, like to the We Might Be Drunk clip channel, but then it was deleted, which makes me think Lex told them to delete it. So
he called them up. He's like, "Listen here, you little fucking comedians, you little piece of shit. Oh, you think it's funny with your Norm Macdonald picture in the back?" And he's like, "Hey, I'm just Mark Norman. I'm just the guy. You know, funny. I do jokes. Haha." And Lex is like, "Well, listen here, you little fucking cunt muffin. You little fucking monster piece of shit. I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna beat you with a bat. I'm gonna take a wet fish and just smack you with it." He's like, "Oh, fine. I'll delete the podcast. My bad. No, not a big deal. I didn't realize that was a printer. Crazy."
oh, this guy's just a really strange character. I mean, he's like an enigma, and it seems like he came out of nowhere. You know, like somehow Rogan found out about him and had him on, and then he started his own podcast and right away had on Elon Musk. And now he's one of the biggest podcasters in the world and has on the same caliber of guests as Rogan, like Mark Zuckerberg, Donald Trump, Kanye West, and even people that Rogan hasn't had on that he probably wants to, like Jeff Bezos. And then also for some reason, Lex spent a Thanksgiving with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. So Lex's rise to fame, in my opinion, just feels kind of contrived, like he's an industry plant or something.
And again, I think part of it is, and part of it is just this hunger for popularity that everybody has, and then they find somebody safe that they know. So here's the thing. Here's the thing why I can understand why, like, Kamala Harris didn't go on Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan pushes back sometimes. But I could see Kamala Harris going on Lex Fridman's show. And that's why I think that he gets more of a diverse cast than Rogan does, is because of the fact that he doesn't he doesn't do any pushback. He's a little bitch. He's a little boring bitch boy that knows that each one of these people that go on his podcast, and then he has he's like, "Oh, look at this, dude. I'm having so-and-so big name, but I'm not going to ask them any actual questions. I'm just going to sit there and let them say whatever the fuck they want, and I'm going to shake my head and think, well, what about love? Did you try love?" It's just fucking, it's the most boring thing in the world, and that he gets the popularity not because of who he is, but who he has on, and it's because he glazes the fuck out of them.
I mean, even Ari and Mark during this podcast I just played were like, this guy just popped up out of nowhere and everybody's acting like they know him already. It's kind of weird.
Big and new, just like everybody likes Huberman, everybody likes Lex Fridman. Everyone's like, "Oh, I'm getting invited to my wedding." I'm like, you didn't even know it existed 4 months ago. What the fuck are we talking
He gets Elon Musk, he gets Tucker Carlson, he gets Rogan, he gets all these giant names, and he's just like an MIT robot.
So even Rogan's comedy.
Yeah, dude, yeah, he shows up and he's like, "Oh, you started business? Is business good?" And the guy's like, yeah, doing business good. These are the things that I'm rolling out. This is what's going on. Did you do it with love? Oh yeah, and it's just like the other guys saying all the shit. They're doing all the legwork, and he's just fucking there to be a fucking mouthpiece. He is somebody. He is the podcast where people go on just to glaze themselves. That's all his podcast has ever been. I've tried to listen to it a couple times. It is just a fucking cum sucking fest.
Friends seem to be confused about why Lex is so popular all of a sudden. Like Tim Dillon, he thought the same thing after he did Lex's podcast, and this was maybe one of the best rants from him. He did Lex's podcast, and afterwards he's like, everyone says Lex is a genius, and I'm sure he is, but what does he even do other than whack off Elon Musk? And he just starts going off on him and Eric Weinstein, and this caused Eric to have like a mental breakdown, and he went on Rogan's podcast afterwards to prove what he's done, like his life's work. And it was a complete...
That's so funny, dude. Imagine getting so mad at somebody on the internet, getting so upset that you're like, I need to go on a show right now. I need to go on a show to clear my name because they don't believe I did the work. I need to show them that I did the work. Who fucking cares, dude? The best thing about content, right? If somebody like made a video about how I'm a goonball that grew out of nowhere, right? And I'm too big. And then somebody makes a video about it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fire up the camera and I'm going to stir the controversy more. Not like go out and make up a bunch of shit. I'm like, oh, I didn't grow. Yeah, I fucking post like a gajillion videos a week. I'm out here fucking grinding. I throw my dick on the table, take pictures of it. I don't take pictures of my dick and send it to people. That was going to be the joke I made. But let's not get on some Destiny energy right now. Anyways, I get out there and I'd be fucking spitting back at them, and then we'd have a back and forth, and eventually it would get funny, and then we would do a show together where we would argue. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. It becomes a whole arc, and that's where it's fun. But it's not, I'm going to go on this show, and I'm going to complain, and I'm going to show that I'm better. Nah, dude, just fucking make your content, bro. Watch his video, and then tear it apart, and have fun with it. Like, here's the thing. People take this shit way too seriously. This whole YouTube thing way too fucking seriously. Like, it all actually matters, and in the grand scheme of it, none of this matters. This is just entertainment for the side, dude. It's like, well, I think he actually believes this. Sure. If somebody's echoing the opinions that you believe it, he's right. Like, you can believe that he has the right opinions, but who cares? Who cares at the end of the day? We're entertainers. If you're entertained by us, we're doing a good job. Like, fucking stupid, dude. I hate whiny people like this.
Disaster. It was so embarrassing. I covered that on Patreon. Make sure you check that out. It was hilarious. But it sounds like Rogan convinces all his comedy friends to do Lex's podcast, and they go on there, and afterwards they're like, that was cool, but who the hell is that guy, and where did he come from, and what does he even do?
He's great. He's a genius. I can't even believe he's talking to me. And everyone says he's a genius. I don't know if he's a genius. I'm sure he is a genius. What does he do? He's a coder?
Yeah, for AI. Yeah.
Wait, so what does that even mean?
So like
Does anyone have to ask credentials anymore? Everyone goes, Eric Weinstein's a genie. Does anyone know why? What? Is there anything they've done? No, truly, because all they do is talk. Is there anything they've built? Is there one appliance that they have any?
Is the one the washing machine sucks my dick? Is Lex Fridman the one who made it suck my dick? Or are we just believing he's the one that made it suck my dick? Because honestly, at this point, I don't fucking know anymore. Nobody's telling me. I'm just told that I should believe this guy's the smartest fucking guy in the room. This is fucking outrageous what they're doing to me right now. This is fucking garbage. What am I supposed to just wake up and he's supposed to put his fucking dick in my mouth and I'm just supposed to suck it? I don't know this fucking guy. I don't know why I started sounding more and more Brooklyn during that, but yeah, dude, it's so funny how I'll just see somebody pop up out of nowhere and they're supposed to be the most intelligent, like, hard-hitting person. I went to school for this. I'm like, sure. That doesn't mean that I have to fucking believe you. Like, who cares what you did? I don't know you. I don't need to know you. Just, like, why does it matter? Like, we're here to have fun.
Anything to do with?
I'm a comedian. Why the fuck do I care that you're an MIT grad? I'm here to talk about comedian stuff. What the fuck does it matter?
Have they come up with something even like the rotato, which peels and slices a potato as you could? Is there one thing any of them have done except whack off Elon Musk and talk? I'm literally asking. And I love them all. And I don't, but I do. But whatever. They're funny. But I mean, and you can't find a thing they do. What is their job? What is any of their jobs?
To do research.
Into what? Why and who? Where? Where's the what? They all do research all day. What are they researching? They're just talking about trans people. They're all supposedly tech geniuses who's talking about who has a cock.
I fucking love Tim Dillon, bro. One of my favorite things was I did watch the clip from Joe Rogan when he was talking about the Joker. He's like, I fucking knew this movie was gonna bomb. We were all sitting there smoking cigarettes and saying this movie fucking sucks. I love that Tim Dillon will just tell you his unabashed opinion, and I feel like a lot of people get blasted for this now. It's like, oh well, you have to put on this facade, you have to pretend not be like crazy, and because we're all crazy, dude. Every single one of us is fucking crazy in our own way. We all are a little bit loosey-goosey weird. And the thing about, like, I appreciate about loud people is they're unabashedly loud and they do not care. And it's fun, dude. I don't, like, people like Lex Fridman are always the problem, where they're always trying to look and be better and pretend. It's all a fucking mask, dude. It's all a mask. And then you got people like Tim Dillon out here who just take the mask is off. They are who they are. They're having fun with it, and I've always appreciated that. And that's what I try to bring to mind, is just the most obnoxious, unabashed version of myself that I can possibly be. And sure, I might say something that contradicts myself or somewhere along the lines. I don't fucking care. I'm the funny guy. I'm the guy that's out here just talking about eating as much seed as humanly possible, and how I can slap a clit just the right way to make her go. I love people like this, and people like this are the problem with the like modern internet.
And I'm dead serious. And all they're talking about is if somebody's tucking the D.
So that might be his best rant. I mean, it's so funny. Like, Rogan tries to convince all these people that Lex is a super genius AI researcher, which maybe he is, but at this point, he's just a podcaster. That's the only thing he's known for. Nobody knows him outside of that. You know, people just know he's involved in AI. That's about it. And I think most people believe he went to MIT or he teaches there because he's always bringing it up, but he never went there. He actually went to Drexler. That's where he graduated from, but he never really mentions
and all of this shit is just to make him seem smarter and give him more of a reputation, because I went to a bigger college, when I don't give a fuck where you went to school. Yeah, like, there's so many geniuses who never went to college, and they just were out there just slinging dick like nobody had seen, and they did all this cool shit. But now in modern society, it's like, well, I went to Harvard, I went to MIT. Look how smart I am because I went to this college that charged me $500 kajillion and I didn't get one blowjob out of it. All I was doing was studying like a good little boy. It's stupid, dude. I don't give a fuck what school you went to or I'm supposed to perceive you as. I'm here to spit my nonsense, and like, when you're just running a podcast, we're on the same level at that point. We are just idiots talking on the internet. At the end of the day, we are the same.
That, and he only seems to bring up MIT, I think, to sound more legit. But if he really is this super genius who's doing all this really important AI research, why is he spending so much time doing podcasts and making songs about Joe Rogan and all this other bullshit? You know, it seems like he really just wants to be famous. And some people who know him claim all he's really cared about is just gaining a following and becoming a celebrity. And I guess his strategy...
That's literally all he cares about. At this point, there's no other way to see this. There's no other way to see it, because that's why he doesn't do pushback. It's because he wants to look like the nice guy so more people will come on his show. And you see it all the time with a lot of these people, where they'll have somebody on that's got some controversies around them, and they won't address any of the controversies. They will just let them say whatever the fuck they want. They will own the show, and you're just the facilitator of that nonsense. And that's all Lex Fridman is a facilitator of whatever cock he's sucking currently.
To do that was to convince Joe Rogan that he's some kind of AI genius, and then also suck up to him and Elon Musk, which obviously worked well. I mean, Rogan promoted him like crazy and would always tell people to do his podcast. And one of the funniest moments was when he tried to convince Neil deGrasse Tyson to do his podcast, and he showed him this video of Lex playing the guitar in a self-driving car, and Neil, he couldn't have been less interested in it.
That's pretty good. Lex can shred. Give me some of that. You gotta listen to this. Listen to this.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson is kind of a clown too. I mean, Here's the thing, dude. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is and was a genius, but dude's constantly just going on random shows trying to be a celebrity guy. I mean, does anybody actually give a fuck what the stars look like in Titanic? Neil deGrasse Tyson does. He's been bothering the director of that shit for like the last 20 years. How all the stars are wrong. Nobody cares, dude. Like, the fact that the director was like, yeah, dude, next time I look at my check for $1 gajillion, I will think, wow, dude, what if I made the stars right? That was an insult to you, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you fucking dense idiot. All these people are just clowns, dude. They all want attention. They all want their moment in the sun to look bigger and smarter than the next guy. And here's my thing. I don't care if I look like the idiot. I'm here to have fun. But all of these guys want to be the most important person in the room, and it's so sad.
Have you done Lex's podcast?
No.
You would love him. He's an AI researcher. From MIT originally, and now he's mostly doing independent work and doing his own podcast. And brilliant guy. You would love him.
And here's the thing about Joe Rogan, and this is what a lot of people will act like Joe Rogan's just a glazer. Joe Rogan's always said he's an idiot. And one of I remember back in the day, somebody like put a tweet out where it was like, Joe Rogan's is just a monkey slowly learning, and he was like, that's exactly what my podcast is. So like, it's not hard for somebody to pull one over on Joe Rogan because he's just an idiot comedian that has people on that are smart sometimes. And I think people give him a lot more credit than that. But the fact that he sometimes does pushback on a show where he's the idiot shows more than these people that are fucking smart and have people on and then don't do any pushback. Like, if you're such a genius, Lex, why don't you actually ask anything of interest? If you actually did pushback, a lot of these people wouldn't show up to your show. That's what you know. That's where you're smart enough to realize that you need to be the glazer.
And he's got an amazing podcast too.
Okay, so here it's going to be in this section.
I don't think you're interested in Lex's podcast. Seems like he's not paying attention.
What do you mean? No, hang on. I got this.
Lex,
no, thank you for the tip.
I'm trying to get him on, buddy.
I'm trying to get him in.
Lex actually is one of the most brilliant people I know. I think you would.
Well, and this is where Joe Rogan is kind of trying to. Joe Rogan, for the most part, it tries to be a nice guy and tries to help people out. I think that he comes off genuine in that. And here's my problem. You can, like, this is the problem with a lot of these people that don't want to look like the bad guys. Like, this is so pretentious, I think, of Neil deGrasse Tyson to act so uninterested. He could say, listen, he's not really my thing. I might look into it, but I want to move on. Then move on. But, like, the fact that you're just ignoring him reading a book on his show, like, that to me comes off as arrogant and entitled and shit. And he does this shit on all shows where he tries to be the smartest person in the fucking room. That's why I don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson that much.
Love talking to him.
Like, again, I know I'm pausing again, but, like, what else is Joe Rogan supposed to say in this situation where a dude's just flipping through a fucking book and ignoring him?
An interesting quote here from Walter Bagehot.
And I'm not saying Lex is a bad podcaster, but I don't know why Rogan feels the need to tell everyone they need to go on there. You know, it's not like his podcast is that unique. I mean, it's like...
Well, and here's the thing. I get him pushing Lex is cringe, but also, like, to miss the fact that this dude's just ignoring everything he's saying while looking for a quote in his book because he's so self-absorbed. That also is cringe, and that goes to the same level as what I'm annoyed with Lex on. Lex is so self-involved and so scared of looking bad that he wants to be the most important person in the room. He wants to have the most important people on. And so he's trying to, like, think about, like, the most intelligent way to go about this, which is annoying. And then here Neil deGrasse Tyson is doing the same thing. Like, well, I want everybody to know how smart I am, and I don't care about anything that you're saying, Joe Rogan. Let me get to this quote I have in this book that is more important than anything else you have to say. And that, to me, it just shows another layer of arrogance.
The same thing as Rogan's, and Lex has a lot of the same interests. He talks about the same topics. And he's heavily inspired by Rogan. So I don't know why Joe feels like all these people that just did his podcast need to go do another one with this random AI researcher nobody even knew about not too long ago. You know, it'd make more sense if he just had on tech people. But for him to have on somebody like Jocko Willink, that just doesn't seem like something that needs to happen. But I'm sure Rogan set it up and it's probably like, oh, you got to do this podcast. And then he went on there and it seemed like right away he's thinking, why am I here?
Is it tragic or beautiful to you that some of the closest bonds that have formed between people are through war often.
Look how fucking annoyed Jocko is. And this is the thing, he doesn't ask anything interesting, and people like Jocko, like, the reason Joe Rogan, like, vibes with him is because he, like, asks them shit that's interesting. This dude just has, like, a fucking playbook that is, like, generic questions. And the big, like, the people who want to glaze themselves are going to be on here, and they're going to glaze themselves, but Jocko is the type that just, like, cuts through the bullshit. Now, I don't know a ton about Jocko, but I know that he is not a guy that messes around.
I think it's both tragic and beautiful, and for the obvious reasons.
So boring.
What are some of the worst aspects of when you were in Iraq? What are the things that
God,
the
boring.
hardest on you?
Boring.
Having my guys killed.
Boring. Well, obvious question, obvious
Hopefully
answer.
surf, if the waves are good.
Surf for...
How good are the waves?
Yeah, for fun. Just because waves are good and surfing's fun. Fucking boring.
Let's say they're good. This is a perfect day. It's a perfect waves. Why do you surf?
'Cause it's fucking fun, you dipshit. You boring fucking no personality idiot.
It's fun.
Okay, this is fun. Okay, man and nature, which is like what surfing is the ultimate, is the power of the infinite power of the ocean versus a little silly looking man on a board.
You could say it's the infinite power of the ocean versus a silly looking man on a board, or you could say it's fun.
And Lex just really...
No, my God, dude. Dear God. Holy shit, dude. So boring.
He wants to be like Rogan. You know, he has a lot of the same interests. He's into jujitsu, comedy, hunting, lifting, and he'll try to convince people that he's an alpha male. Like, he hates the idea of people thinking of him as a nerd or a beta. So he has to remind people that he's an alpha and he has a Rogan inside him and he's a man's man because he likes to lift heavy objects.
Okay, so I love fighting. I've been in street fights my whole life. I'm as alpha in everything I do as it gets, and the fact that I enjoy...
And yet he never pushes back, and he asks the most boring questions of all time. Yeah, dude, real alpha behavior. Oh, dude, you weren't walking around the mean streets of wherever Lex Fridman grew up, seeing him just fucking knocking people down like it's Rage of Fury, or what was that game? Streets of Rage. Dude, he was the inspiration behind Streets of Rage. He was sitting there, he's like, is it fun? Oh, fun is good. I like fun in AI. Like, well, come on, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Joe Rogan said that I thought Scent of a Woman is a better movie than John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
Put me into this beta category. Like, I'm a total bro in a sense. Like, I may not look like it, but I have like a Rogan inside me.
Dude, it's so glazy, dude. It's so pathetic. It's so sad. He sees all these other people that are actually interesting and actually have something going for him, like Rogan with his MMA shit, or comedians being funny, and he's just like a leech that attaches himself to it, and he just suck. I have no personality and I don't like to fuck. Sucky. It's so cringe.
And my dad, like, I really am a man's man, except for the times in like Harvard Square and academia rubs off on me. But for the most part, man's man.
What does a man's man mean? May I get
Like,
granular?
Dude, I like the smell of pussy. I think boobs are mad tight, dog. Also, dude, have you ever hit somebody in the face with your awesome fist? The fist of awesome? I have rocked somebody's face with the fist of awesome. I know jujitsu, and also, I drink PBR. Do you drink PBR, bitch? No, I drink PBR. I'm a man's man. Do a chest hair? I can't grow it myself, but I glue it on. I trim from my pubes and then glue it on my chest, and then I'm like awesome. I'm awesome. I'm the king of fucking awesomeness. Me, Lex Fridman.
There's just a list of stupid shit you do. Like, I like lifting heavy things. I like building stuff. I love the idea of hunting. I love fishing.
The idea of hunting. What the fuck is the idea of hunting? There's hunting and then there's not hunting. The idea, like, have you not done it? That's the type of shit that somebody says, like, I like the idea of it, but I don't actually do it myself. This isn't like a grand concept of like talking about somebody like of certain ideological setting where you're like, I understand and I like the ideas that he has. No, this is just fucking you go out and kill something. What are we talking about? Well, the idea of it? What the fuck?
Like knives and guns and
Risk, danger.
Risk and danger, yeah.
Okay, so all like the carnal sort of.
I love fighting, combat.
Oh, fighting. Combat. I'm Lex Fridman. Fucking boring. How do people watch him? How do people like sit through this fucking guy's content? So sleepy.
Violence.
But not in relationships.
I mean, like literally getting in a street fight. Just two monkeys going at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it.
The adrenaline.
The adrenaline, I'm an alpha. You know, like I'm.
Dude, anytime I hear somebody say I'm an alpha, I'm instantly putting you in the fucking perk of being like the most beta simp cuck motherfucker. Like every time. I mean, this is the type of guy that I'm an alpha, but like Joe Rogan, if you want to slip it in my mouth real quick, I am so okay with it, dude. I will do it so quick. Elon, if you want to bring Elon in, I can get some double movement action. Just pop, 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 pop. I'm very versatile that way. Did I mention I get on street fights? Will that move this circle jerk along a little faster? Will I get some sucky tuggy a little? Well, can we get to the sucky tuggy faster if I talk about jujitsu and how I can pick up heavy things?
Badder motherfucker than you.
I'm not buying that even when he talks remotely.
Like that. I hate when
that's
not true.
Yeah, so he just desperately wants to be seen as an alpha male, and he also probably just wants to get Rogan's acceptance and approval. Like he's always trying to impress him, but it's just embarrassing if you have to go around telling people you're an alpha male. I guess he just needs to remind people though, you know, and he also needs to remind people that he has a PhD and he knows what he's talking about.
If you're going to criticize me,
like here's the thing, dude. I could go on Joe Rogan and literally I would be me the whole time and it would be fine. But like Lex Fridman goes on and just glazes him and then gets off of his podcast and is just like, how do I become the most boring derivative version of Joe Rogan ever? That's the difference between somebody who's entertaining that goes on Joe Rogan. Like you go on, you watch them and then you go check out their content and you're like, holy shit. These guys are entertaining even without Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan just had them on because it was a fun time. And then you look at like somebody like Lex Fridman, when you watch them and like try to watch them after Joe Rogan's not there to be interesting, and you're like, fuck, God, you're boring. You're so fucking cringe. Why the fuck do you exist? And like, it's the only reason I think that he gets on this is because he's so nice and tries to be Rogan's friend. And like sometimes you have friends that are like, I know other people find him boring or whatever, but he's my friend. He's my friend, and I'm gonna tout for him. I'm gonna try to hope for his success. And like then it comes off industry planty, which is exactly how Lex comes off. But like it's his friend, so he's going to be nice to him. But dear God, are you fucking lame, bro?
About my exploration of ideas in Bitcoin, you have to also acknowledge that I'm a human being that got like a PhD and stuff. Like I did some hard shit that it could be in farming or it could be in whatever. Like I've lived life and I've really thought deeply and I really care. Like I know a lot of shit, and it's possible that I actually have a lot of ideas that you can learn from. Now, if it's agriculture, fine, or if it's artificial intelligence, fine. Like I know what I'm talking about certain.
Yeah, so I guess Lex knows what he's talking about because he has a PhD and stuff.
Dude, my mind shut off. Every time he talks, dude, I just go into like autopilot and I start drooling. And then I just become more retarded because I don't feel like he says anything of substance. It's like walking up to a wall that the paint's drying and just watching the fucking paint dry. God, it's just egregious.
So you could tell he's just really insecure about people not taking him seriously or not thinking he's an intellectual. Just like Eric Weinstein, who still hasn't recovered from Tim Dillon questioning what he's done. And if you want to hear more about that, I covered that whole saga over on Patreon. It was hilarious. I highly recommend it. And there are also over 120 other exclusive videos on there. It's the best way to keep up with the Rogan sphere. So if you like this channel, if you like this video...
Yeah, if you like stuff, check out his Patreon. I really like Too Lazy to Try. I think he does fun stuff when it comes to the whole whole fucking realm of Joe Rogan, all these different podcasts and all the cringe. I think he does a really good job with it. Dude, Lex Fridman is like, out of all those people that started podcasts, he is the one that I tried to listen to. And I don't listen to most of these guys' podcasts. And if they have somebody really interesting on, I'll listen to portions of it. I'll skip through. I think like Two Bears, One Cave, I listened to part of the Matthew McConaughey one because I wanted to see how fucking cringe that was, and it was pretty cringe. But I also don't hate Bert Kreischer. Now, a lot of people hate Bert Kreischer. I don't hate him because I think Bert Kreischer has always been Bert Kreischer, and like they're just hating. Like he rose to popularity because that's who he was, and now all of his friends are like, God, he's annoying. It's like you guys knew he was annoying from the get go, and now you guys are mad because of it, and you're kind of turning tail on him, and because the internet doesn't like him, and I think that's kind of cringe. I think Bert needs to grow as a person, but at the same time, what's worked for Bert is why it's worked for Bert. Anyways, but like some of these people are just so annoying and so cringe, and Lex is like the worst way to like do a podcast is the way Lex does it. It has no entertainment value. It has nothing interesting going on. I don't understand why people like him. He's one of those people that feels like he does feel industry planty because it doesn't make any sense how he rose to popularity. That's all I got on this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much. And like and subscribe. Yeah.